Bismillah, salatu wassalam ala Nabi Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Looking at the current situation in Gaza makes you feel like as if humanity is on the low, as if the end of the world is not too far. And in these difficult times, we really should strengthen our connection with the Quran. Because I believe, and I actually think this is a miracle of the Quran, is that it's a book which is always relevant to you. As your situation changes, as your context changes, your mindset changes, you derive new understandings from those same verses which you've been reciting for years and years and years. So nowadays, whenever I'm reciting the Quran, I feel like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is communicating to me all about Gaza. Literally, this is what I feel like. And I thought I'll share with you some of my reflections. So recently I was reciting Surah Yunus and I just got to the last two ayat and I stopped and it just felt like Allah Ta'ala was just talking to me all about Gaza. So I thought I'll just share with you my personal reflections, and a disclaimer, I do not intend to do tafsir of these two ayats. And before I continue, I would just like to say, if you find my content useful, then please do subscribe, like, and do turn on the notifications, as all of this will help the channel grow. Jazakumullah khairan. So ayah number 108 starts with قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ قَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking directly first to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's ordering him to make an announcement. Say, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people. So the message is for all people. Now, this is a vocative, and in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses different types of vocatives. For example, sometimes he would say, Ya ayyuhan nabi, O Prophet. Or he would say, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, those who have believed. And the thing with vocatives is that they are an essential indicator that Quran is not a divine monologue. Rather, it is a book where the speaker, he communicates with his addressees. So in this case, the addressee are all believers and disbelievers. So what then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say next? He says, the truth, al-haqq, the truth has come to you from your Lord. The Mufassirun generally have said that the truth, the al-haqq here, it's a Quran. Quran is not just a book of believing in Allah. Tawheed, it's a foundation. But Quran is also a book of guidance of human conduct. It encompasses message of morality, of ethics, social and legal principles. The verses of the Quran, they cover diverse topics on mercy, on compassion, on justice and fairness, on unity. So Quran is a book of guidance for all humanity, and that's why the word an-nas is used here. It's not a specific rule. Ahkam, general rules, like this is how you pray salah, or this is how you're going to do hajj. These ahkams are for the Muslims. But guidance, to human conduct, it's for all humanity. So that's why the message here is very general. This is a book, it's a truth, and it's for all mankind. So what does he say next? He says, فَمَنِ اهْتَدَى فَإِنَّمَا يَهْتَدِي لِنَفْسِهِ. So whoever follows the straight path, he's doing it for himself. So, when most of us, the general public, we see the truth, we see the people of Gaza being not just oppressed, a genocide happening there right now. We know who is wrong and who is doing all of this, and we don't support the oppressors at all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us here. He's saying, don't think you're actually doing a favor to the people of Gaza. Whatever actions we're taking, by acknowledging the truth and trying to take whatever small actions, to help them, we are not doing a favor to them. Allah Ta'ala is saying, when you recognize this truth and you follow the guidance in His book, you are actually going to benefit yourself. So if we didn't do anything, we would actually have a dead heart like these oppressors. But by recognizing the truth and doing something about it, we are actually reviving our own hearts. And we are saving ourselves from falling lowest to the low. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the people who reject the truth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, وَمَنْ ضَلَّ فَإِنَّمَا يَضِلُّ عَلَيْهَا. And He says, whoever strays, Whoever is dhalla means, lost, they've erred, they've strayed, and whoever strays does so to his own loss. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clearly telling these people, yes, right now you might be powerful and this power has corrupted you and you think there's no accountability, but you are the one who's going to be in loss end of the day. Yes, right now the people of Gaza are suffering, but you don't think that you will escape because you are the one who's actually going to face the real loss. And then Rasulullah is told to say that I am not responsible over your actions. The duty of Rasulullah was just to convey the message. But when these people wouldn't listen to the message, Rasulullah would get very upset. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Rasulullah, you don't be upset because you don't have control over these people. You are not responsible over them. Your job is just to convey the message. So what we learn from this is that, sometimes we feel like, God, I'm doing so much, but why are there no answers? Like, we're going to the protest, but why is the government not listening to us? We are writing letters to MPs, but, they're just kind of disregarding whatever we have to say. Whatever actions we're doing, why are we not seeing the results? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clearly telling us, those who are on the path of the truth, your duty is just to convey the message. You don't have control over these people. We can't change results. The results are not in our hand. Our job is to convey the message, and inshallah, we are going to continue doing that and not give up. And then the next ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّبِعْ مَا يُوحَى إِلَيْكَ, and follow what is revealed to you, i.e. the Quran, the guidance in the Quran. In the Quran, Allah tells us to be merciful, and He has placed that mercy in our hearts. Without that mercy, we probably wouldn't feel for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. He has placed that sense of justice in us. That's why we want fairness and justice for our brothers and sisters. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاصْبِرْ حَتَّى يَحْكُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have sabr, be steadfast. To be on the path of truth, it's not easy. So when we want to continue taking some action for the people of Gaza, I protest, MP, writing letters to the MPs, boycotts, whatever we want to do, we have to be steadfast on this path. And to be steadfast, to be patient, it has to be a long-term thing that you continuously keep on doing. And when we are doing these actions, why do we have to have sabr? Sabr from who? Sabr from what? Sabr from those people who don't agree with us, those who are on the false side, those who are on the wrong side of the history, because they're not just going to sit quietly and not do nothing about it. They will actually make life difficult for us. So we have to have patience from these people, patience from whatever actions they will take to stop us. So we need to have patience. But does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say you have to have patience forever? No, He says until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives His judgment. And when the judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, He can change the entire situation. He can give us new opportunities for the truth to prevail. But we have to wait for that opportunity to come, for that judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come. And we need to remember that we need to follow the guidance in the Quran. But just because we are on the right side of the history doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. So we need to be steadfast. And remember, end of the day, Allah is the best of all judges, and we must trust in Him. Assalamu alaikum.